Welcome back to our conversation on colorectal cancer. My guest this segment is Dr. Robert Smith, and you're the Vice President of Cancer Screening for the American Cancer Society. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the new campaign, 80 in every community. What does that mean?
We, 4 to 5 years ago, we started a campaign to increase colorectal cancer screening rates. We felt that all the conditions had lined up to make a major push. We did this through the American Cancer Society's National Colorectal Cancer Roundtable, which pulls together all the leading organizations, and we had a unified effort to increase screening rates. We finished 2018, and many communities and many health plans and segments of the population did hit that 80% rate, but many did not, even though their rates increased. So now, moving forward, we want to continue this campaign and have a goal of 80% in every community.
I think it's interesting. Only 2/3 of the community, you say, over 50 and over, are getting screenings?
On average, that's right, and that number should be higher.
Wow. Is it because they are afraid? What are you finding are the reasons people over 50 aren't getting them?
There's lots of reasons. People sometimes don't feel a personal risk. Sometimes they just simply do not want the test that's been offered to them, which is why we emphasize that physicians give patients options for screening. There's very good ones. And sometimes people don't have access, frankly, because they don't have health insurance.
Now, you actually changed the age of which people get screened.
We did. We used to recommend that screening begin at age 50, and when we've observed now that colorectal cancer screening rates are rising in younger people, and in fact at the age of 45 now, today, they are where they were at the age of 50. 20 years ago, we decided we needed to drop the age to start.
Would you think that there's a certain group, a certain population of people who are really lagging behind in getting these screenings?
Well, as we say, as more and more people get screened, now we have the harder group to reach. And they are the people who feel no personal risk. They're procrastinators, that is a lot of us. And there are people who don't have access, or there are people for whom their doctor has really not made a concerted effort to say how important this is and to make sure that the patient has an opportunity to choose a test that sort of fits with their preferences.
Now that insurance pays for that test, that first one, is there an issue with people who don't have insurance getting it?
Of course, and one of the big issues there is that we do have inexpensive tests, but if you have a positive test, the follow-up test is more involving and harder to arrange if you're low income and don't have insurance.
Talk about some of those different tests that people can have for this.
I'm glad you asked. We have a lot of options, but they really fall into two major groups. One we refer to as structural exams. Those are colonoscopy and CT colonography. And then there are the stool tests, which are the fecal immunochemical test and the high sensitivity guaiac-based test, and then of course there's the stool DNA test. Some people might say, well, I'd like the protection a colonoscopy offers and I only have to do it every 10 years. Other people will say, I don't want a test like that, but I would do a stool test.
Now, that's something interesting you brought up. So you only have to do a colonoscopy every 10 years.
That's right, that's right. But some people don't want one. And so what we would always say to those patients is, fine, you take this stool test home, you have a bowel movement and you test it and you send it back, and it's a very accurate test, but you have to do it more frequently. The regular stool test every year and the stool DNA test every 3 years.
I think people may remember, or you may not, when Katie Couric actually was so brave on the Today Show, and she went in and let the cameras join her for her first test.
Yeah, it was heroic on her part, and it had a big impact on raising awareness about colorectal cancer screening. As Michelle mentioned earlier, a lot of people talk about the PrEP. You brought that up. It's really not that bad, but again, some people may even know that, but a month goes by, another month goes by, and they don't get it done, and pretty soon a year goes by and they're back at their doctor again.
It's a life-saving procedure. Would you say early detection is definitely key to helping you with this? Is this one of those?
There's no substitute. And in fact, what's especially important about colorectal cancer screening is that we can prevent this disease by detecting the precursor lesions, the adenomas, and when we remove them, you prevent this disease from happening. occurring. Or if we find the cancer early, then we have this opportunity to more easily treat the patient, and they have better outcomes.
I have a coworker who was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and she's doing great today.
Yeah.
You know, it's really so important to go in, and I can't stress that enough for people, but I don't think in this day and age they're listening to us. You need to get it done.
And I want all your viewers, if their physician, if their doctor has not talked with them about colorectal cancer screening, to make an appointment and have that conversation. They can also get information on our website about colorectal cancer screening, www.cancer.org, but it should be part of every person's personal health plan.
Awesome job. Thank you so much, Doctor. And when Public Affairs on Peach returns, an event you may want to put on your calendar for next weekend. If you love art, drinking tea, it's perfect.